the characters are very important in that they are basically metaphors for what is fighting against such a force, such a powerful force. So I explained Superman as the fallen leader, martyr, the fallen soldier. Aquaman, I would say, is the next one I wanted to get to. Aquaman would be the environmentalist, because he cares about the environment that he lives in, which is the water, the ocean. And now that he sees it's in danger of being destroyed, hence big oil, what big oil does to the oceans, you know, you name it, British Petroleum. It's a metaphor for that. Basically, the way corporations are destroying the earth. So, in the name of profit. So, Aquaman comes in as the environmentalist. And the next one I would say is Cyborg. Cyborg represents pretty much the scientist, the science level of things. The how even now with this administration, scientists are in danger, or basically uh, vulnerable now, because now this administration doesn't even let them do publish studies without the administration's say so. So that's like a very disturbing halt to actual science, and studies are tampered with and censored or vaulted by corporations all the time from scientists, whether it's regarding climate change. Now there's climate change deniers, there's you know, science that's not being progressed, just like the electric car was subdued because it was halted. It was stopped from becoming a big thing. It should have became a big thing like about 20 or so years ago, but the big oil companies want to make more money. So Cyborg is a metaphor for the inventions that we're not getting, for the scientists that aren't able to make true progress because of evil, because of the corporate power. And so Cyborg is pretty much the technology and scientist joining to fight against the top. Then I would say next, we want to talk about Batman, which there's a lot explaining to do with his transition from the Batman vs. Superman movie to the Justice League movie. Is as I will explain further in the Batman vs. Superman metaphors review, is that Batman was basically uh, a policing figure, a vigilante figure who lost faith in society, law, and order, and he pretty much has taken to his own hands to basically punish the villains in his city, to punish him, to terrorize more than to actually do what he originally intended to do, which is to save lives, to save people, was Batman's original purpose. But he got lost in a deep state of confusion, in a deep state of darkness. I would say this is obviously connected to the comic book midlife crisis of Batman. Is basically when Batman returns as a gray, older Bruce Wayne, out of touch, and he comes back more as a very violent vicious figure that's very bitter at the world, very bitter at society, because he's lost loved ones and he's seen no progress. He sees the same bad guys get out over and over again, and it's a never-ending cycle that he sees no progress in what he does. But then he realizes that why he became Batman in the first place was not to punish or to stop the crime, but was actually to save people. And so therefore I see that Batman is pretty much becomes basically the metaphor. I would say he represents our many, just like Superman. He's the vigilante, he's the police figure, that pretty much he's the muscle that does all the dirty work. I would say he's the grassroots movement that is involved in the political system, that does most of the groundwork. He's very much a metaphor of pretty much, I would say the biggest connection to this whole narrative is that he is the lost voter in the political system, the person who doesn't believe the system works anymore. So therefore, he's in the darkness and he doesn't vote. He's not accounted for. He would be like the third party voter, or third party alternative mentality, or the no party mentality, just somebody who has lost complete faith in the political system in the US. I think he's very much a metaphor for that. But then once he sees that voting does count, that saving lives does matter, that saving people is his purpose, and that he gets back on the floor, he gets back on to what he was supposed to do in the first place, was to actually save, not to punish. And that's pretty much, that could be connected to the vigilante and the police personality, the police symbol, that the police have been, a lot of police have been put in a negative light in recent times, and probably since all time. There's always been a negative view of police, and because of all the corruption, because of all they would say, call it the bad apples. I would call it, the certain bad police that are out there. And but there's police that punish, there's police that take advantage of their power, and that's what Batman was in Batman versus Superman. And then he has an awakening, and he goes back to what he realizes what he was intended to do was actually to save people, and that's what police are originally meant to be for, not to punish, but to actually save people, save lives, to actually protect people, protect and serve, as they say. So Batman has a reawakening and realizes that he's supposed to protect and serve.